take it in and appreciate what the moment means, and to play in front of a crowd that's so generous with their support despite our age and skill sets. When they're showing the highlights up there, I just look at it going, "Geez, I was something in my prime."
That would be good.
but overall, it was a great evening.
Andre, in your autobiography, and you hinted at it today as well, that at times you hated tennis when you were playing in your professional years. How did you reconcile that after you retired? And do you ever feel those feelings when you step out for something like this, or it's all positive now?
Did you read the book or no?
I did.
Oh, so I didn't reconcile it in the book? Shoot. I meant to. I talked about tennis being a hate-love relationship. It wasn't until later in my career when I use it as a vehicle to do my life's work, and once I did that, I found myself getting out of my own way mentally and became a lot more focused and got to appreciate it a lot more. However, you never get rid of all those feelings you had growing up, and certainly the stress and the drama and the torture that came along with it at times. It wasn't a woe is me story, it was sort of a this is me story. It's how I felt most of the time. So, after my career, I never looked back. It was a gift to me because it gave me the time and energy to do a lot of other things that I value deeply. But writing the book was also a way to come to terms with it, because it allowed me to really turn a lens on myself, a harder lens on me than anybody, and at the end of the day, understand my own story through a literary lens.
Anything else? Andre, how fast were those serves coming in?
Yeah, no, they seem as fast as ever. I can't tell if they are, or if I'm combined, my speed, I don't know. But, the balls were definitely flying out there. They weren't the most heavy-duty things. So, and then the problem is you want to do so well, and you want it to be right, and so you get tentative because you try to keep the ball in the court and work into a rhythm. But the more tentative you get, the harder it is to sort of control. You almost have to just forget it and let loose and just let it go. And I never quite found that particular stride, but had a few moments of it. So that was enough to feel good.
We relived a lot of your greatest moments, both of you tonight on the Jumbotron. Which ones that you saw maybe brought you the most amount of joy looking back on them?
Well, I was talking with people who were walking the court, and I asked them if he felt the same. But we had a lot of matches despite the quality of our rivalry and the importance of it in my career. And there was a lot of times we played where one of us was just on their game and the other one was slightly off, and as a result, it was almost protocol to go through the motions of just beating the other one. There's just these moments, and then very rarely do we really both play our best tennis against each other, where individually you would say we're playing spectacular. And I thought that happened in New York with those 4 breakers, and that's such a special moment. We had, I saw lights out tennis in the finals of Wimbledon. I had the best seat in the house, right across the net, and that was crazy. And that has its own memories, just watching Pete doing what he does best at the biggest of situations, and then there's others that also stand out. But to me, the 4 breakers really symbolize who we were as competitors, and we get to share with New York as well.
How about for you, Pete?
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the 4 breakers, and I didn't lose serve against one of the best returners of all time for 4 hours, so he didn't lose serve. So it was very high quality tennis for a long period of time. It was just a few points here and there. We've had some great battles over the years, but that one stands out more than the rest because the quality was great for a long period of time. I've had my moments, he's had his moments, but that one was pretty special.
It felt like a final, huh?
Yeah. I should have been the final. I lost it. He wore me out for the final.
Did anything change in terms of strategy now that you guys are a few years older? Was it all pretty much the same in terms of how you approach playing each other?
I speak for myself individually. I don't think a great deal about strategy. You think about how to maximize what you can bring to the table, and that is your best strategy if you can, execute what you still can do. Because there's other things you can't do, and when you can't move and get the ball exactly where you want, your options are limited, so you try to just get the most out of what you have. and then you know each other's games so well, you know where you're going to struggle, and you know, the thing is, Pete's arm still works so darn well, which is a pleasure to see from one perspective, but not from another. So it was more, for me on my side, it was more about trying to understand my capabilities and try to get the most out of them.
Pete, how much does it still mean to you to win even this?
Well, we're both very competitive, and I mean, winning's always nice, but I think putting on a big show for the fans is also important. Nobody wants to see a 2-2 match in 45 minutes. You want to keep it competitive and have some fun out there, but you want to, for me, I only know one speed at times. When I have the ball in my hand, I serve hard. It's how I'm built. So it's hard for me to bring it back. Playing against Andre's, it's more nostalgic now for me because it's not about winning and losing. It's being around him, it's hanging around with him, talking about old times. Sure, we've had a few moments here and there, but it doesn't matter. All those issues are over. So hope we can sort of continue some more in the future. Because we are linked forever because of what we did in the 90s.
Any more questions? Last one.
Did either of you find yourself reminiscing in the middle of a point?
Between points, I did. Yeah.
When you're in point, you're not thinking about anything.
No, he's just reacting and just surviving, really. But between points, you sort of, my mind drifts a lot these days. I think about old times. I think about where we are at the moment. I think about what it really has meant throughout my career and life, and the platform and the vehicle that tennis has given me, and what the support of the crowd has meant, in the good times and in the bad. And it's hard not to. It's hard not to enjoy yourself, even though things aren't necessarily on a razor's edge out there as it relates to your being fine-tuned and it being a highly competitive match. You just you take it all in, and I never really got to do that when I played. I was too stressed out. And
you're still stressed out, boy.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about that, for sure.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.